he threw there. I don't know what's been said. He's coming back into the ring, Anthony Joshua. He took hold of two of the belts, the Ring Magazine and the WBA Super, I think. What's he doing here?
I don't care about strong, I have that skill.
And he threw there. I don't know what's been said. He's coming back into the ring, Anthony Joshua. He took hold of two of the belts, the Ring Magazine and the WBA
This
Super,
guy.
I think. What's he doing here?
Wow!
I don't care about strong, I have that skill.
Anthony Joshua. His Cabal clone programming is what we call bugging right now. 100%. He on a one-way ticket back to Westworld. They fixing to fix all of his dodgy buggy code right now. This is wild. And I believe this action from Johnston derives from his plans if he was going to win the fight. Don't forget, people. He said, oh, when I win this fight, I'm going to get the belts and dash them. Now, obviously, in AJ's mind, for whatever reason, he forgot the steps. You've got to win first. Yeah, they're not your belts to dash, you clown. You understand? It's one thing. It's almost quite cool. If you win, you know what, F the belts. The belts don't love me. Yeah? F these cheap-ass belts and dash them. That's quite iconic. But you ain't do the bit. Life works in steps, Johnston. Yeah? You beat Usyk, you win the belts back, and then you have the right to do what you want with them. You didn't wanna go to that dark place, push through and win the belts. But you thought you'd do the whole dashing belts thing anyway. Where they doing that at? I'll tell you where. It's the same thing with the rest of his attitude after the fight kicking off. I've got more videos coming soon. AJ got in Usyk's face. AJ started trying to fight people after the fight. All this kind of energy, which in my opinion's fine if you fought that way. Yeah, if AJ was fighting like this, showing no respect, and then lost, I'd be like, you know what, man, more time. Do your thing, big man. Yeah? Because you were on that energy. Do you understand? If he was on that bad mind energy in the ring when it mattered, but Usyk was just too good, I can work with that. He on one. What can we say, people? He on one. Yeah? But guess what? You was super duper polite in them 12 rounds. Yeah? You was super duper docile and subservient. You spent the first 8 rounds waiting and watching what Usyk was doing again. You weren't trying to be first. You weren't trying to be dominant. You were trying to play follow the leader. And you let a small man fiddle you around for 12 rounds again. Yeah, so don't take my man's belts and dash them on the floor. They ain't your belts. Yeah, you weren't bad enough to win them. You don't have the right to dash the belts, because guess what? When you was champion, you weren't dashing nothing. You was pumping your chest out, tell a lie. You was passing them around and whatever else. You had a chance to dash the belts. You had a chance to win the belts back and do as you please with them. You couldn't cut it. So don't disrespect someone else's property. Yeah? You ain't, because you weren't, end of the day, you weren't bad enough to take them. If they're yours, you can do as you please, but they're not yours. They're Usyk's, and you're lucky in a way Usyk's polite. Because really, he might just slap you upside the head. Yeah? Because what really were you on? You weren't on that. You weren't on no throwing belts at the ring energy for 12 rounds. You weren't. Yeah? You was on that same dead, boring ass, no viciousness having ass energy. No doubt about it. So cut the cap. Who are you trying to deceive here? Because you ain't deceiving me. I'm sick of this kind of attitude, and it does sum up the position we find ourselves in today. It's all about the optics. People don't really want to show character. They want to perceive character. Okay, well, I'm not going to get stuck in. Let's not forget, people. If AJ wanted to appear edgy, if AJ wanted to appear like he on this thing, he didn't need to throw belts out of the ring. He coulda gone in there and laid it all on the line and given a part of himself to the ring, as have many fighters done on many other occasions. Most of the greatest fighters did it multiple times in their career. AJ really, for all the money he's made, has never left any of himself in the ring. He hasn't. Tonight was his chance to join that list. Do you want to be great? He said no. And instead of accepting, you know what? I heard the YB's videos. He's right. I haven't got it. I'm finished. I'm not what I thought I was. Let me go and sit down somewhere and be grateful that I cashed out. And be grateful that I managed to do what Fraudley Harrison couldn't. Make a whole bunch of money and be completely useless. Yeah? Instead, much like these new age guys, rather than doing something that's truly great, rather than trying to show character by solid actions, everyone trying to get clout, everyone trying to get famous by doing some dumb shit. That's your man AJ. AJ is now trying to appear hard, trying to appear like he really wanted it, by throwing someone else's belts out of the ring. Dead move. Super dead. All this proves is that you ain't got no substance to you. Because you weren't giving it none of that kind of energy when you had 12 rounds to do so. Yeah? And I almost feel as if AJ's acting how he thinks he should act. I've done videos in the past saying, oh, why is AJ so happy to lose? I almost get a feeling that he's acting like this to try and show, oh, I'm not happy. But I don't think he really cares. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think it's like, oh, damn, I've lost. And I heard YB's video and he said that I shouldn't really be happy to lose. Let's not forget, people. Watch AJ lose to Usyk the first time. Watch AJ lose to Ruiz. Oh, yeah, it's really great for you, man. He loves to lose. That's what this feels really contrived to me. Like he's thinking, oh, what's the best way I can show people I'm not happy with this loss? I know what I'll do. I'll dash Usyk's belts out of the ring. Super weird. And it just goes to show as well, people, yeah? Look at all of these sidemen here. And I've been saying for a long time, AJ's team are full of sidemen. Look at all these sidemen here. Yeah? Top sideman there. Top sideman here. All these zesty sidemen. None of them are saying anything. Let me tell you now. If I was in that camp here, AJ would have been told straight up, why are you acting a fool? Yeah? Now ain't the time to act a fool. You had 12 rounds to act a fool. Settle yourself and go sit down in the corner and reflect on your bad behaviour in the ring for 12 rounds. That's what you want to do about dashing belts. But look at all these sidemen just standing there watching. Again, that's another reflection on society today. There ain't no real people no more. Just a bunch of sidemen with their hands open looking for a piece of the check. That's why AJ feels he can carry on the way he does. Because no one ain't never told him, AJ, number one, you ain't got it like that. You could do, but you ain't shown it yet. If you want it, you're going to have to show it. And no one told him that. Oh, AJ, great AJ, wicked AJ, we thought you won, AJ. Yeah? No one ain't told him, AJ, as yet you have not shown you really want this game. You haven't. You've shown you'll turn up and beat someone who's no good. You haven't shown that you're willing to die to win, which is fine. I'm not saying I'll be prepared to go there, but I'm telling you, that's what it takes to be the best. Not everyone can be the best. So far, AJ's proven he ain't trying to be the best. He happy to be mid-level. You can never achieve greatness with a 5 out of 10 performance. Tonight was at best a 4 or 5 out of 10 performance. This right here, yeah, is the kind of energy he needed to show in the 12 rounds. He needed to show pure disregard and pure disrespect to Usyk. The same way he's showing that to Usyk's property. He weren't trying to do that though, was he? No, he was trying to be all political in the ring. Standing there and waiting for Usyk to move first. Following Usyk around the ring. I was screaming on Twitter, Be first, AJ. Why are you following this small dude around the ring, looking like a lost puppy, waiting for him to set the pace, waiting for him to set the agenda? Us man wanted to see some of this energy. Where was the belt throwing energy when it mattered? I tell you where it was. This whole thing, this whole shtick here from AJ, yeah, reminds me of the drunk dons at the pub who always want to fight when they've got friends holding them back. This is exactly what AJ's doing here. What he's basically saying, what he's basically signalling is that, okay, I'm going to be really disrespectful when the environment is safe. He knows Usyk ain't going to come up and start punching him in the head. Do you understand? It's safe for AJ to kick off now. There's no, there's no comeback, is there? But guess what? In them 12 rounds, the reason you didn't see AJ kicking off like this was because there would have been a response to his actions. I.e., oh, if I kick off, Usyk is going to punch me back. Yeah? If I start attacking, Usyk will attack me back. I've got another video coming soon. In this same post-fight ring thing, AJ starts kicking off physically and his team are holding him back in the ring. Another perfect example of what I'm talking about. How are you getting rowdy when you had 12 rounds to be rowdy and you was quiet as a church mouse? Ain't it though? You weren't trying to make no ruckus. But now it's safe. Now you're not in combat anymore. Now you're not engaged in a fight anymore. You want to kick off. That's very convenient because you had 12 rounds to kick off. We was begging you to kick off. My coins was begging for you to kick off. You ain't kick off. You was docile in there. So don't throw man's belts. And you're lucky, really. Like I said, you're lucky that Usyk is the way he is inclined. Because he'd have been well within his rights to thump you on the back of your head. Truth be known. Yeah? Because you ain't like that. You ain't how you think you're like. You're a fraud. You're a fake. And that's fine. Not everyone can be the top level. But you must accept that too. Quit the cap about, oh, I want to be a great. I want to be this. Cut it. Just be honest and say, listen. I haven't got it like the greats got it. I'm good at turning up, looking the part, looking buff, and having no minerals, having no substance. I'm good at selling product. I'm not good at delivering real character, delivering real value. That's what you need to come to terms with and accept now. Yeah? And really he needs to have more. And I'm not even someone, you might know me, I'm not someone who into the whole respect thing. I find it cringy. As far as fighting goes. I much prefer people to be disrespectful in the fight game. For what it's worth. Because guess what? You can all kiss and make up when you're 50 years old and the game's over. For what this game's worth, whilst you're in the prime of your career, I think it doesn't hurt to hate the people you're fighting. Yeah? That's how I feel. Especially in this day and age. There's way too many people trying to be friends already. We don't need no more people trying to be friends. We need some enemies in there. Yeah? But what we ain't going to do is encourage this kind of behaviour when none of it was present when it mattered. I told you before. If AJ was in there and proper going for it and still lost and did this, I genuinely would say, boom man, yeah, I salute that, I rate that still. What can you say? Yeah, he charged up. He on a mad one right now. It's one of them ones, what can you say? AJ's gone in there for 12 rounds, he's left it all out there, he's proper on one and he lost. And he's still feeling that way. Boom. I salute that, I feel that. I can empathise with that. You've just left a part of yourself out there and you're still lost. And you're on one. What can you do? That's life. But this right here is what you call contrived. Because you weren't having them feelings when it mattered. No. You didn't want it like that. Go back and watch the fight. Look in AJ's eyes. Look in AJ's face. He didn't want it. He just didn't. He was happy to try and box with Usyk again. He was more worried about self-preservation than greatness, which is fine, but this kind of behaviour we can't endorse. This kind of behaviour is acceptable when people are clearly chasing greatness. If you can see someone's dying to be great, yeah, and they fall short, and that loss of, you know what I mean, that feeling of loss of self. I've just left a part of me out there and it wasn't enough. Dealing with that, we can work with this kind of outburst. But we ain't gonna see a man go in there for a sparring session and then try and pull the wool over our eyes, trying to convince us that we didn't just watch what we watched. AJ would love, yeah, to carry on with this kind of behaviour. So people think, oh look, he really wanted it. Oh, AJ's screwing. Yo, it really means a lot to him. Cut the cap. When something really means a lot to someone, yeah. I keep saying it, but look at Wilder, for example. The way Wilder went out against Fury, you can tell it meant a lot to him. You can tell it meant everything to him. He wasn't even really conscious, and he tried to drag himself back up and got put out to sleep, yeah? You can tell it meant a lot to him. And after the fight, if Wilder said he doesn't respect Fury still. Now, I think at the time I may have made a mistake and said, oh, Wilder's a bad sport, but I'm still learning. And I've said before, that example, in fact, was the one I learnt on. Since then, because of Wilder, in fact, I've learnt that was actually the right response from Wilder. Yeah, he earned the right to not really be on some fucking happy, you know what I mean? He earned the right not to be on some family, let's all kiss and make up thing. Yeah? So I salute Wilder. But this guy AJ, you ain't want it like that. So go and sit down somewhere, and if you're angry, take it out on yourself. Because you got really, yeah, after watching that fight, AJ's actually got no one to blame but himself. This wasn't some act of God where Usyk was just too good. No. AJ lost this fight tonight. The fight, from what I saw here, the fight was on a plate. If AJ had this kind of attitude you see here in the ring, Usyk was food. He just was. Usyk literally couldn't take any of the shots AJ was throwing. The problem was he wasn't throwing enough. The problem was he ran out of gas. The problem was AJ didn't want to go to the dark place he was required to go to. Anyway, I ain't trying to see no more of AJ. I hope and pray Tyson Fury doesn't give him a fight. He hasn't earned it. AJ needs to go and sit down somewhere and retire. He is finished. It's not about this, that, the other. It's about having pride as a man and knowing I've achieved all I can, which he has. He's achieved all he can. He has peaked. If there was ever a time he was going to show something special, it was going to be tonight. He ain't shown nothing special. Another average, bog standard performance. The dog isn't coming out, people. It's not coming out. He's finished. He's done. Yeah? Simple as that.